In this video, I'm going to show you how to replace your parking brake cable on your Mini Cooper. It's located behind the rear wheel. Using a 17mm socket, we're going to remove our wheel. Be careful when you take the last one out. Make sure you have a good hand on that wheel in case. So we're going to put one lug nut stud back in and give it a good whack. Once you get it loose or free, if you're having the same problem anyways, you can remove your last lug nut. And remove the wheel. Now we're going to remove our cable from the caliper. To do that, you want to push down here until it gets closer, and then you can remove the caliper on the top, and then we're going to pull it out here. I'm going to use a big set of adjustable pliers to do that. You're going to pull down on that, get this out, and pull it out. Now we're going to remove it from here. To do that, I'm going to use a trim tool, pry bar, whatever you got. Pull that out. And you just want to make sure your caliper is working right and make sure that moves. And now we're going to work our way onto the body of the car. I'm going to use a 13mm socket, and I'm going to remove these two nuts for this hanger that's closest to the driver's side. Make sure you put some penetrating oil if they're as rusty as ours. After you're done removing that, you're going to pull this hanger down with the exhaust, get it past those studs. And then we're going to pry out the other side. So now we're just going to pry this out. And that'll give you enough wiggle room to get the heat shield out from up top. Using a 10mm socket, we're going to remove these two nuts, one on each side, to get this heat shield free. Using a 10mm, two nuts, one on each side, to get this heat shield. Now we're going to remove these two bolts. We'll start with this one. Using a 10mm socket. Your heat shield shouldn't be falling down already because there's another bolt here, but ours is rotted out. I am going to remove that so I can fasten something to help it stay up for reinstall. Now we're going to push our heat shield down so we can see where the connection is. You may have to lift it up past the pipe to do that. Once you have access, you can put a piece of block in here or just pull it out. You can reshape these, so if it's easier for you to pull it out, pull it out. So this piece is right here. On both sides, you got another cable on the other side. And this is on the inside of the car. So we're going to go up top and we're going to disconnect it. We're going to pop the boot out. And to do that, you're just going to slide a trim tool in and push in and out. And there's little clips on both sides. And you're going to work your way around. And this should pop out. Plastic gets brittle with time, so be careful you don't break something. Once you get these out in the back, you're going to go in the front here and push it back and out. And there's another one here to unclip. Our boot is also torn up top, but yours should just get out of the way enough to get to the rest of the parking brake trim panel. Next, we're going to pop out this trim panel. To do that, you're going to slide a trim tool underneath, and you're going to pop it out towards you on this side, and also on this side you're going to go towards the passenger side. And once it's popped out, you're going to hear a couple of clicks. If you're having a hard time doing that, you're going to put your finger in here and push it out and up like that. So once you have this side free, you're going to go in the back and do the same back there. Now you're going to take your trim tool and you're going to pop it out in the back here, like that, and do the same on the other side. And then it should pop up. So under here, there's 4 nuts that you're going to remove. 1, 2, and then there's 2 more here. 1, 2. Before removing these 4 nuts, we're going to put our parking brake lever down. So if yours is up, you're going to put it back down. And now we're going to use a 10 millimeter, and we're going to remove these nuts. And now you're going to do the 2 in the front. They're on either side of the handle. Your other 2 nuts are right here, 1 here and 1 here. You're going to use the same setup, 10 millimeter with an extension. I'm using a wobble extension, make it a little easier. And now we're going to disconnect this wire and pick this up. Just get that out of your way, and underneath this carpet is where your cables are. There's one for the driver's side and one for the passenger side in the rear. You're already disconnected from the caliper at this point, so this should be an easy weasel it out. So what you're going to do is tip the bracket, and then you're just going to pull the cable out through the hole. So right here you have 2 ears that when you push it through, it snaps into place into the body of the car. So you have to push in this one and this one. You might be able to get away with just pushing in one and pulling out the cable, but you're better off trying to get to both. And then push it through. As you're pushing them in, you're going to want to use needle nose pliers, and you're just going to squeeze these and pull it out. I'm going to get my needle nose pliers in there. You are going to want to get some hook shot ones, right angle, in order to reach it. And you're going to push in, and then push that cable out. So after you get the 2 ears in and past the hole, you're going to go underneath the vehicle, and you're going to pry it out. Just make sure it doesn't pop back in, and unclip it from your plastic brackets underneath the car. And just pull it out. So these are the ears I was talking about that you have to push in order to pull this out of the hole. So now we're going to take our cable out the rest of the way. I'm going to go this way. Just remember where you're taking it out from so that the new one goes back the same way this one came out. Now we're going to go for this bolt here to remove this bracket. You're going to use a 10 millimeter with an extension. And remove the bolt. And the bracket should come with it. And now we can remove the cable with bracket. Now we're going to install our new cable. You're going to slide it through where you found it. Once you get it there, you're going to get it down near the exhaust pipe and past the gas tank. I'm going to line up our bracket. There is a little hook right here for the bracket, And that goes in the hole of the frame. And then the bolt should line up once that's in. Once you have that ear in there, you're going to get your bolt started. Just make sure your bolt hole is lined up properly. We're going to tighten it down. After you feed the cable through, you're going to make sure everything lines up, even at the caliper. And we're going to put this through the hole and push it through. It should just snap in, like that. You might have to wiggle it around and make sure it's secure. And now let's feed it into the plastic brackets. There's one on the gas tank, right underneath you. And now we're just going to put it through the caliper and get it ready to install. I'm not going to install it yet until after I get it installed up top. Now we're going to put the cable into our bracket here. You're going to feed it through, ball first, and then slide it into its place. This isn't going to be tight until you get it attached to your caliper below. So let's do that now. Or you can put this all back together hoping it stays. I would recommend doing the caliper first. Now we're going to put our cable through. Make sure this flat spot is resting on this flat spot of the caliper. And you can add a little silicone paste on that O-ring if that helps. Seat it in there properly. So now we're locked in there. And we're going to put this cable through that bracket. Now we're going to push down our parking brake and slide our cable in using a trim tool. Once you get it started, it'll be easier. Now you can just hammer it in the rest of the way, and it'll lock it in place. Now we're going to make sure the ball is still in. Everything looks good, so we're going to undo our carpet. Put it back where it was. And lower down this plastic piece. Make sure you place the plastic piece over the studs in all 4 spots. And now we're going to get our nuts started. One here. We'll snug those up. And make sure you put your 2 nuts on the back here too. Get those started and tighten them down. Make sure you plug this back in. This slides right onto that connector. And now we're going to put down this plastic piece. And it snaps in right here, and here. Make sure it clicks in. And now we're going to go to the front. I'm going to push the seats back so I can access the front. Now do you have those back clips pushed in? You're going to just tap it with a rubber mallet if needed. Work your way to the front and it should click into place. There we go. Make sure it's secure. And now we're going to put our boot on. Make sure you have a lot of tension, so as you pull it up, if it feels really loose, like you're not getting any tension, you're going to have to adjust your cable. And this is your adjusting nut right here. Before putting this boot on, you're going to want to make sure there's enough tension in your parking brake. And to do that, you're just going to try it a few times. And you should feel tension by the time you get halfway. Right about there, I start feeling tension. You should too. And then all the way up. If you feel like it's really easy, you're gonna have to adjust your cable. There's a nut right here, and you just tighten it down some more until you feel that resistance that you need. Once the car is put back together, we're also gonna test it again, or you should test it again by starting the vehicle, going down the road, and coming to a stop using your parking brake. If you have a stick shift, it's gonna be a little bit more complicated. Same idea, put it in neutral, see if it comes to a stop by pulling this up. If you feel like you're going too far with the parking brake engaged, you're gonna have to take this boot off again and readjust your cables. Since we didn't do any loosening of this nut to take out the cable, you may not have to do any adjusting at all. And now we're gonna put our boot on. Now we're gonna hook this tab into this spot, push it in, and lower the rest of the boot down into place. Should snap into place. Our boot is ripped, but it still functions properly. And just give it another test. Looking good. As you're pulling up on the parking brake handle, you should have somebody make sure that those calipers are moving the way they should be. And then when you release it, and just make sure they're traveling the distance. So now we're gonna put our heat shield back. You're just gonna bend it the way you need to in order to get it over this pipe. And pull down on the pipe to get it through. And then line up the holes in the heat shield for the fasteners. Let's put these on first. I'm gonna spin them on by hand. Snug them up. Now we're gonna work our way towards the end of the car. Now you're gonna put your bolts in here to hold the heat shield up on this side. Snug that up as well. And do the same on this one. Let's hang up our exhaust in the back. Hooked back on to the other side. You can get your nut started on this side. And we're going to snug those up. Now that everything's back together, you can put your wheels back on and go for a road test. Let's install our wheel. When you do that, make sure you're all lined up. Keep a good hand on it and get one of these started. And do the rest. Let's tighten these down. We're going to do that in a crisscross manner. And you're going to walk the wheel on. We're going to torque our wheels to 95 foot-pounds. We're going to do that in a crisscross pattern. Sometimes these get stuck.
When only the best will do, demand TRQ. The only company that lets you view before you do. TRQ is committed to offering the highest quality aftermarket auto parts that are engineered for peace of mind. Thanks for using and viewing with TRQ.